All right, I will call to order this meeting of the Easthampton Planning Board for Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. First up, is there anyone here to speak to anything that is not on the agenda tonight? All right. Moving on to our Planning Board minutes. Minutes from
Do you need a pen?
May 7th, 2019. I was absent for those, but anybody else have any?
I read them. I had no modifications or changes. No one else? Motion to approve the minutes from May 7th, 2019.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I will abstain.
Same situation with the 21st.
May 21st. Nothing?
I motion to approve the minutes for May 21st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed?
pause for a second. And is there an abstention in this one for May 22nd?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm abstaining from
Okay.
both those first two.
Yeah.
May 21st. June 4th, Mr. Zarvis was absent
I was
that week.
happy
I
to
didn't see
abstain.
anything that needed changing. Anybody else? Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes for June 4th.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Jim abstains. And June 18th, the whole team can vote.
I motion to approve the minutes from June 18th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. That didn't kill nearly enough time.
So the flaw is that I published the public hearing to start at 6:15 instead of 6. So I apologize.
Which could indicate that possibly more people are coming, and the reason they're not here is that
Hordes
10
of
minutes.
people waiting in the parking lot.
The buses will be pulling up momentarily. Refreshments at 6:20.
But we should wait 7 more minutes.
Is there any announcement or anything you can tell us about that we would typically do at the end of the meeting that maybe we can forward to now? Tell us about what our next planning board meeting is like?
Next week.
Next week,
Everyone remember next week.
Okay.
2 in a row.
the continuation of the solar project at 50 Florence Road. The downtown planning grant, the downtown planning study continues on Saturday morning at 9 to 11:30.
Is that another public forum?
Yep, at the high
Okay.
school. The first one was really well attended. We had 120 people.
So the next one's at the high school, you said?
Correct.
It's not at Center?
It's not at Center. It's gonna be too hot there, so we switched it. So that was a really good turnout for the first one. This is the second one, and then there's a third one on October 9th.
Great.
Where's the third one?
Third one's gonna be back at Pepin Auditorium.
Okay, it'll be cooler.
It
I
should be.
couldn't walk for 3 days after sitting at that little log table.
Those chairs are tiny. It's true. Is what it is. Public service.
All right.
What about the meeting after? Anything scheduled?
No, so then the board shifts all the way to August, so there's nothing lined up yet, but you probably expect some stuff.
Do we see numbers on the Valley Bike use stuff? Do we have access to that?
We will have access to that.
I'll be curious to see after a few months if people are using those and
Yeah, and we're technically in a soft launch right now. So two of the stations are supposed to be pay by credit card. Have the option to pay by credit card. It's the one here and the one at Millside Park, but they were damaged in shipment, so they're not. That credit card payment function is not. It's not currently working.
so how do you pay?
Well, the way that I think some of the people would do it is by an app. You can get an app on your
through
phone.
credit card through the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sign up for a membership and then you can access the bikes through a phone app.
Figured a cash drop box probably wasn't gonna work these
No.
days.
So I've been hesitant to kind of push out
Yeah.
heavy information on the bikes at this point because the system's not fully functional yet. But, the
Okay.
idea is to eliminate short trips.
Right.
And eventually, when Union Street's reconstructed, there'll be a bike lane going to the rail trail and a Sharrow going all the way up. So, in theory, you'll be able to get up Union Street on a bike to Old
Awesome.
Town Hall. So,
That's excellent.
yeah.
That'll be good.
Did that do it?
No.
2/3.
Hey, anybody want a telecom update?
Oh yeah, that's
Absolutely.
This one's on video though, so keep it PG.
What are you afraid of?
Giving you the
My
microphone.
God. Well, we had our meeting last night, and we're planning on having a public meeting in August for the public to show up, okay? With a presentation. How we're gonna do is take the public's input. We're not gonna be answering any questions. It's more of a fact-finding type of thing of who wants to actually get the service. No, better way to be a business or residential, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You getting answers to those surveys?
Yeah, we got 670 answers to
That's great.
our
That's
survey.
great.
That's a good response.
And some of the answers I found very intriguing, because it was like, out of 670, 400 something people said they didn't bundle. Then on the other end of the question, there was 470 said that if they did bundle, they would break the contract to unbundle. I'm going, you know, yeah, it didn't make any sense to me.
We might have some hard data that we can get through Easthampton Media as to what the subscriber data is. We get that data and use it for our own number crunching regularly. So, you know, I'm not sure that it includes specificity about bundling and sales packaging, just subscribership and
Yeah.
that kind of, which has been in a steady decline, of course, for years as people are cord cutting.
It's so funny because every month we have these new people show up. Because somebody's always dropping out and they get new people to know the mirror point.
Oh,
somebody
on the
new.
committee?
Yeah, and then somebody else would drop out. Like we had 3 new people last night,
Wow,
you know, so.
passing the torch.
It's kind of cool, but it's always the same 4 or 5 people that show up every Monday. Myself and the chair, the assistant chair, whatever, our clerk. That happens in all the committees I've ever been on.
Jeff, are you aware of any committee vacancies right now?
There are several on the website.
Yeah, I think I would have to consult with the website. Depends on which committee you're interested in.
That's not my interest.
I don't know, Jim, you just
We're on
volunteered.
camera.
On camera?
I thought,
So-
we got a few minutes telling people to join committees is probably a good use of our time. That's a civic duty right
If
there.
you guys want a CPA update.
Sure. Can you do, although, now we only need to kill 3 minutes. Can you do it in
I
3
got
minutes?
2.
All right, 2 minutes.
The National Money Pond Committee came before the CPA at our last meeting, looking for $315,000.
4.
It's kind of like a semi-dredge up there in the upper end,
Oh, yeah.
by the boathouse.
Yeah.
They put a couple of, some kind of containers up there and they're all filled up. So now they gotta figure out some way of getting those out of there, taking the sludge out. So we've recommended getting the Army Corps of Engineers up here to give us a professional outlook on this whole thing, rather than just cut a check for $315,000, you know? To find out where we're gonna be in 10 years,
Yeah.
rather than, well, we're just gonna do that and just hang around and wait, that type of thing. So we're, hopefully they'll show up with, with those people.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sounds like due diligence.
Gotta protect that pond.
I got 6:14. Close enough.
Yep, I can talk for a minute while I call it to order. So, I'll now open the public hearing for Charles Edward Realty Trust for, it says site plan approval, but it's a special permit, right, Jeff?
No, I was going back and it's actually site plan approval.
Oh,
No, it's just a special permit application. Okay. For site plan approval to convert the second floor of an existing 3-car garage into a dwelling unit under section 3, multifamily dwelling, table 5-1 at 20 Union Street in downtown business zoning district. So, somebody want to come up and tell us a little bit about what you're planning on doing? Walk us through this project? Go right to the podium, please.
name and address.
My name is John Fedor Cunningham. I live in Orwell, Vermont, but I represent Charles Edward Realty Trust, which is a company based in Easthampton owned by my mother. This project got dumped in my lap, and when it was dumped in my lap, there was approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals to rebuild a garage that was destroyed by a tree that fell on it and crushed it. The Zoning Board of Appeals approved rebuilding the garage on basically the same footprint with an office and bathroom upstairs. It was my mother's understanding that there would be a kitchen and the ability to have someone sleep there too. Her original intention was that my brother, her son, who plows, would have a place that he would be able to change his clothes and sleep during many long snow plowing incidents at the Rite Aid parking lot. In the process of taking over the reconstruction of the garage. I discovered that the permit to allow someone to sleep there and to have a kitchen there was not in place in dealing with the building department, and I spoke with the building department, and he told me what to do, which was to come and submit an application to you to allow that use, but we still would like the ability to have it be an office. Since these initial plans were put forward, a few things have changed, which is that my brother's wife died, and he is not working for my mother anymore. And so that's why I'm here taking over this and trying to get the last bit of permit. And this also means, since he's at the moment not working for her, my mother would like the ability to rent the apartment until such time as it is needed by him when he is plowing. So that is the idea and the reason why we're asking for this. If you approve it, the building department will let us put a kitchen and a bed in this space. John Flagg told me that we needed a second egress, hence the stairway that wasn't on the plan that was approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Anyway, if you approve it, we will move ahead. I hope you do. If you don't approve it, I guess it'll just be an office with a bathroom. But if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
If you want, Mr.
No, go for it.
So I got a bunch.
Okay.
I'd like to start with I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And I want to cover some things. I read much of this in here. I'm stating some of this for the camera. You went to the ZBA because it was too close to the property line, the placement of the garage originally.
To rebuild it in the exact same spot where the old garage was.
Right. And how far is it from the property line? It's close.
Very close.
The ZBA approved it.
Yes, they did.
And that's been done.
It's done.
I'm just
It's rebuilt. but-
Trying to state that's why you went to the ZBA and went through a process to make sure that it was
Yes.
okay to build it again that
Right.
close.
And my mother was actually under the impression that the ZBA had given permission for there to be a kitchen and a bed in this space, but
Which
they
is the
didn't.
other piece.
And so that's why I'm here.
So I saw you talked about parking in here. I want to hit on that. But just one question for something you just stated that caught me a little unprepared. Because of the change in events, there's a desire to rent it until such time, I think, maybe I'm paraphrasing.
Yes.
As the gentleman that plows can
My
fill
brother,
that space.
yeah.
Now, there's a desire, you said, to kind of keep it as an office, and then residential. It's the second floor we're talking
It is
about,
the
which
second
is,
floor.
for me, and it's important. I think that's appropriate to have residential on second floors on Union. But I'm a little confused as to whether this is going to be like a home office or sort of mixed use, because when it's rented, it's not an office.
That is correct. The way I phrased it was that it could be used either or, and I hope that was clear, and I apologize if it wasn't. If you approve it, it will be used as an apartment for now. The apartment for Charles Edward Realty Trust is in my mother's basement, and she, quite honestly, at 80 years old, would eventually like that out of her basement and out of her home, and that is something that she would like the option to do in the future, to have it move to this space if it's not rented as an apartment at that time.
This is downtown business in terms of zoning, Jeff?
Yes.
Right, that's what
Right,
I
yeah.
thought.
The property is already residential. It's a two-family house. This is the garage that's not attached.
Garage is not attached. So, I mean, usually when you attach a garage, yeah, I mean, the use would be for vehicles, but it's.
It
I mean,
had
this
been
is a
used for
residential.
storage and office above, but that had not been used as office for quite some time.
Okay.
Just something, Harry? No. So now I'm getting a little confused. So, but it's one space. It's not an office and
No,
an
it's just
apartment.
one
It would
space.
just be one space that you could choose, depending on what the circumstances are, to either use it as the office or to rent it, or to use it to host your brother when he's doing snowplows, depending on what the situation is.
Yes. When I had spoken to Jamie, I'm sorry, I don't remember her last name.
Webb. Yep.
Jamie Webb,
Yep.
about this and explained this. She suggested that I word it so that there is an option to use it as an office at some point in the future, should Charles Edward Realty Trust want to, or as the apartment that it would currently be used at. And so that's why there's the dual wording for the two options.
It's interesting, we always have to consider future use, you know, be it 50 years down the road, say it switches hands and this sort of whatever we've established now as precedent, it becomes use. And what's kind of being asked here is that it be usable for both commercial and residential purposes. That space could be used either way. Now, can I ask one other question at the very beginning, and you brought this up, Jesse, because it says on the paperwork filled out, it says special permit, but you said site plan approval. Can you just tell me why they filled out the special permit? I mean, why is it site plan approval?
Well, I think the fact that it's on a special permit application is not, I don't think that that's
Irrelevant.
Yeah, I think it was advertised as site plan approval, which is where the abutters got notice, and that's what the legal ad said. So under the table of uses, and this was the discussion that the applicant had with the building inspector to make it kind of work, to pick a category, it would fall under multifamily dwelling, based on the fact that the house is 2 units and adding a third starts to define it as 3 units, which is multifamily. So then a multifamily development proposal is site plan approval in the downtown business district. So
That answers it. I appreciate it.
and I believe, well, we'll double check, but I can quickly try to check the use as an office.
For multifamily in downtown business.
Right, so the other category is all other professional and business offices and services, including ATMs, banks, and drive-throughs, and a variety of other things, is also site plan approval in
It
the
is.
downtown business, so.
And they already have residential.
Correct.
Right.
So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Can you explain a little bit about the parking on site? Because I know there's 2 residences on site already, right?
Yes.
And there's 7, are there currently 7 spots, or that's what there will be?
There are currently 7 spots
Okay.
that are not the spots used by the tenants.
Okay,
The tenant for 20 Union Street front parks next to her side door. The tenant for 20 Union Street rear parks next to her front door.
okay,
And if approved, the tenant for this garage will have one of the garage stalls downstairs. So
Okay.
it will not affect the parking
so there will,
at all.
you'll still have those same
Still have
7
the 7
spots in the
parking
back?
spots that have
Okay.
always existed.
And,
Trash?
getting back to, well, I was gonna go snow removal, since we already started with snow removal. So what's the plan for snow removal? I assume you already have one, because you've been doing it.
Yes.
It won't
The
change much.
Snow removal continues the same way that it always has been. As you may know, Charles Edward Realty Trust owns the Rite Aid Plaza, the building where Small Evan Peter Rapid Cleaners is, and 20 Union Street, and all of that is plowed and treated as one property by Charles Edward Realty Trust.
Okay. And what do you do for trash for the residences now, and how will that change, if at all, if you add a third one?
So there is pickup on the street. There are cans by the back of 20 Union Street, and it will not change. That will continue that way.
Okay.
Can't imagine it would have much additional impact on city systems, sewage, electric, whatever.
There was mention of lighting, adding a light, is that right?
The building department requires an outdoor light by every exterior door. What's approved already is the garage has 2 garage doors on the front, a 2-car garage on the right-hand side, a single-car garage on the left-hand side, but there is a person-sized door to the east and to the west. And each of those, according to code, has to have a light outside with a switch inside. Because the building department is requiring us to have a second exit from the apartment should you approve it, which would not be required for the office, upstairs, one of the windows that is already there would have to be turned into a door, which would require a light outside that door. So there would be one additional light installed beyond what is already approved and in the plan.
Okay. Any ideas about what kind of lights and what the design is, or have you not gotten that far?
We have not gotten that far,
Okay.
but the plan is a very simple light that mounts to the wall just above shoulder height within 8 inches of the door jamb, as required by the building department.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be on all the time. This would be something that has a switch inside. That's what the building department told me is required.
Yep.
Downward facing, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes.
Since we're also looking at the office use, any sort of deliveries or anything like that that the office requires?
No.
Okay.
If this apartment ends up being used for office purposes, I will tell you what the office currently is. It is one secretary who comes at 10 a.m. every morning and leaves at 4 a.m. every afternoon on weekdays. She checks the mail, she writes checks, she pays bills, does accounting, and leaves. And no one comes to that office.
So if that was the office instead of a apartment unit, would that person just park in the same garage spot they already have? It wouldn't impact parking either?
Would not impact parking.
Perfect. And there's already 7 extra spots outside in addition to the roadway they park on, driveway they park
Yes,
on.
in addition to where the 2 tenants are currently park, and the additional apartment would have the garage space. The one garage space out of the 3.
And the construction's already done for the garage right now, right? So there's no further construction that needs to be done other than interior
extra
construction, right?
No,
stairway.
that's not true.
Okay.
Building department requires a stairway.
Okay, yep.
And in order to make the stairway not hit the neighboring building, it has to go 8 steps down, then 7 steps across, and then the remainder of the steps down at an angle. As you can see on the plan, which I can hold up right here. So these stairs do not exist currently, and this doorway right here on the plan is
Yep.
currently a window.
Okay.
So that would be, I mean, I don't want to build that. The building department requires us to do so.
Any trees or vegetation or anything like that that needs to be removed to build
No.
that, or is that?
The tree fell
That's all
down
gone.
and
The tree
brush
already
was
it did its
removed.
work, right?
The brush was removed during the reconstruction of the garage.
Okay.
Can I get an orientation on that? I have the map of the stairway here, as you
Yes.
showed, and then I have this sort of larger map.
Can I walk over there?
Yeah, please. I just want to know, is the stairway on this side or on that side?
So if you put this down, the stairway is in between
Got
here.
it,
And in
okay.
order to have the
This is-
stairway
this is mirroring
not
that.
hit, this says walkway here, but there's
I
actually
see.
a porch. And so that this stairway does not hit the porch. We tried to do a switchback,
Yeah.
but a switchback would have hit the porch, which is why we have it awkwardly going that way. But it does create a nice nook for a couple Adirondack chairs in the garden.
Okay, so it's between the 2 buildings.
It's in between the
Yep.
2 buildings.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, board members have any questions before I open this up?
Nope.
Any comments or questions from the public? All right, planning department, any thoughts, comments, questions?
No.
All right.
I'd make a motion. Do you want to go through the list, or do you want to? I don't think.
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I
necessary,
think
but-
we did this pretty much in order, but conformance with the provisions of the ordinances of the city of Easthampton, the general laws of Massachusetts, and all applicable rules and regulations of state and federal agencies. I think the applicant is jumping through all necessary hoops here. Protection of city amenities and abutting properties. I don't think there's an issue here. Convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site in relationship to adjoining ways and properties. We talked about the parking, which won't really be impacted. Adequacy of methods of disposal of sewage and refuse and the drainage of surface and subsurface waters. We talked about the trash removal. The other issues don't seem to be a problem here. No issue with wetlands and watersheds. Mitigation of adverse impacts on the city's resources. That'll be de minimis with just 1 residential unit added. Provisions for the off-street loading and unloading of vehicles, incidental to normal operation of the establishment. No real deliveries if it's used as an office. Parking, we discussed, that already exists and is ample. Lighting will be minimal. And internal traffic control is not an issue. It's an existing parking lot. Applicant's efforts to integrate the development into the existing landscape. I think that's covered as much as anything matters on that here. And minimization of the area over which existing vegetation is to be removed. No removal of existing vegetation. And finally, the consistency of the development with respect to setback area, placement of parking, architectural style, and landscaping. Do not see a concern there either.
I motion to approve the site plan approval for 20 Union Street, Charles Edward Realty Trust.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
So, Jeff, we need a written decision on this?
Yes, that's actually what I'm working on now, so I can not fall so far behind in decisions. It'll be probably,
Hold on one sec. We're not quite done here. Jeff's got a timeline?
because it's site plan approval, there's no appeal period, but I probably need till the middle of next week to file it with the clerk. And then that is what the building inspector will look for to issue the building permit or to
Okay.
continue if you're.
We have a building permit already.
Okay.
It would
So-
just be allowing us to,
Construct the interior work in there.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so if you think about middle of next week, talk to John Flagg, I'll let him know that this has been issued, and then you're free to continue on.
thank you.
All right. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right.
A motion
Uh,
to adjourn.
Can I get a second, please, on the motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Woohoo! Thank you all.